in my eyes, this is my time. Step up, rise up, fight first, bring it on.
Hello all to Remus Talks. You'll have to excuse me for a second, I'm just reading through some orders from my superior, who is also the subject of today's talks. Yes, there we go. Now, there is a message that he wants to open up with, which I will play for you now.
Hello, all of you. Most of you no doubt know me as the scary man in the suit. And I have to say I'm going to miss that. So I'm here making a short video as part of an episode of Remus Talks, which my progeny is no doubt working on as we speak. But I'm here to announce that my time with yourselves, both as a manager and a role model, have come to an end. For now. I'm leaving to pursue a higher calling, a spiritual journey if you must. And eventually, I will come back. In the meantime, I will be leaving my legacy, my work, and my plans with the society, led by my Remus. I have no doubt in his confidence, his skills, his capabilities to lead them to become a truly dominant force in the industry. I expect I will see you all one day again. In the meantime, I would ask that you pray that you are strong enough when I return. Farewell.
Yes, as you could see, the subject of today is my manager, Richard Knights. The best manager I have ever had the pleasure of working with. No, the best manager I have ever seen. Though I didn't always think that. Not that I ever thought negatively of him. Not one bit. See, when I first joined SWF, I did truly feel like I was fending for myself a lot of the time. Yes, Kieran brought me into the fold, but I didn't feel like there was anybody who was willing to fight my battles. That there was anybody who was willing to back me up when I needed it. And it's not necessarily that I needed somebody else in the ring with me. I didn't feel like I had the right direction. And then, on the day that I won the Sheffield Championship, just before that, that's when I met him. Richard Knights. Now, when I first saw him, I was confused slightly. Because when he met me, it was like he had been waiting for me. He had been waiting for me to appear. He had been waiting for me to show myself. And that did confuse me at first. And then he offered me strength, he offered me power, he offered me the ability to take what I want, and I wouldn't owe him a thing. And you know what? There was a good reason that I won that Sheffield Championship that day, and that was because of him. Unbeknownst to a lot of people, I had drunk the liquid that you can see torturously devouring away at DeCaro in that video I made a long time ago. And I had drunk it on that day. And yes, I can say it's as painful as it gets. Look up how painful a bullet ant sting is, and then multiply it by whatever number you choose. Either way, it hurts a lot. But I had been given clarity. I had been awakened to what I actually was. It's what reminded me of what my true purpose was, and that's when I realised who Richard Knights was. You see, Richard Knights is not just any normal manager of SWF, no. He is something more. And if you haven't seen that already, then you are blind. You are blind, all of you. You see me at the head of the society, but actually, he's the one who's been pulling all the strings. He's the one who's been making sure that everything's been going the way that it should be. All I needed to do was just guide the actions to where they needed to be. If anything, I had the easiest job. More painful, but we're all good at our own things. And for Richard, it's manipulation. You might be saying, well, isn't he manipulating you, Remus? Isn't he using you? Well, not really. You see, the reason I know that is because he actually sent me a letter that I've kept stored in this little book. And in it, like he said, he's having to take some time away from SWF. But he trusts my abilities to be able to keep the society running in his stead. Now, we all know that whilst he is taking his time off, he'll still be plotting and scheming behind the scenes, and that's exactly how it should be. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't have the time off. After all, he was the person essential into getting me a lot of the matches that I have. The match where I won the Sheffield Championship, he gave me the strength to defeat Kieran Hayes, and that I did. He also made sure to influence me getting into a match with the Hood for the Intercontinental Championship, and we all know how that went down. He was the one who, behind the scenes, managed to turn what could have been a dangerous situation into a profitable one. The 5-on-5 at Apocalypse. You see, I know I don't have a lot of friends at SWF, and I don't need a lot of friends. I need the right friends. Richard is the one who got everyone together for that little merry band that defeated Side Splitter's little gung-ho posse. Yes, Kieran Hayes, Doomsday, Drac Nightwing, the Hood, and myself, Remus Kane at the front. But it was Richard Knights who brought us all together because he knew what each one of us brought and what each one of us thought about Side Splitter. And there was a common theme running throughout all of them, and that's that we don't have a lot of respect for Side Splitter, and he managed to combine all of that together into one team, which led us to victory. So for a lot of you who've been disregarding him as just someone who follows me around, actually, I'd say we are... No, I couldn't say we are equals. But I would say that we are on even ground as such. He is just as important, if not more, than I. After all, no one has a better connection to my Lord and Master Belial quite like the right-hand individual of him does, Richard Knights. You see, he has devoted his life in serving the crowned princes. He knows them better than any others do. He knows what they want, and he can read all of their texts. He can translate all of their languages. He is a true follower of them, and a close advisor to Belial as well. He has a very favourable position within the pits of hell itself. And that's not something to sniff at. if he so chose to, and this is no word of a lie, he could oust the people in charge of SWF and place himself in charge of running it himself. And I have to say, he'd do a damn finer job of it than Side Splitter ever would. I'll tell you that much. But I think in a way, Side Splitter acknowledges that Richard Knights is a lot more than what he first seems. Because yes, Richard he's not the most physically built of individuals. But he doesn't need to be. You stay in the ring long enough and you notice a presence about him. You notice that he's not quite like the rest of them. Whilst everyone else is talking and mingling and interacting, he is observing, calculating, planning, objectifying. He looks at everyone and he thinks to himself, what can they offer? What can they do to benefit the society? And I have to say, from the way he speaks about a lot of you, he doesn't think that much about all of you, to be honest. The majority of you, at least. Who do you think was the one who truly thought that Robert DeCaro should be the one who comes into the society? Sure, I was the one who put in the work, but he was the one who noticed. He was the one who noticed a little bit before I did that Robert DeCaro was out of place and that he needed one. He was instrumental in the formation of the society, instrumental in making sure that I had got to the place where I needed to be. And he's still working towards getting me to where I should be with the titles. Oh yeah, we're on 4 now, Lawrence. 4 people who are going to get hurt because of you. Now that's a lot even for me, so I might have to rope my buddy DeCaro into doing this as well. And I'm sure he'd be more than happy to break some people's limbs and appendages alongside me. But a part of me is wondering, are people sharing the videos to you? And if they're not sharing the videos to you, why not? It's your own livelihoods that are going to be ruined if I so happen to choose you because of his negligence. And if you are sharing them to him and he's not responding to them, then why aren't you, Lawrence? Why aren't you responding? Oh, is it that pride of yours? That I have to be so good, I have to be so pure and noble pride? Get over yourself. Of all the people in SWF, you should have no pride whatsoever for the kind of chicken shit person that you are. Not a single damn bit of it. Whereas I'm allowed to have it, you see, because at least with my track record, I've got all this to prove it. What have you got? Oh, looks like I'm imitating one of your arms there. Sorry, you know. It's just very believable, you know. Look, I could break it just like that if I so wanted to. It's so realistic. Yeah, that could be your arm, it could be your leg, not your head. That'd be more like, yeah, there we go. That's more like it. But yes, you shouldn't underestimate Richard Knights on an intellectual level. I'm the muscle, and I certainly have a lot of brains. But he's the mind behind this operation, and he doesn't mind me saying that either. After all, he knows we're at a position of advantage. I currently hold the Sheffield and Cruiserweight titles, and I did hold the 24/7 and Intercontinental Championships. In the 6 months he's managed me, I've managed to get to that position. Now, a lot of that is due to my own skill, But if it wasn't for his managering, I would never have seen those matches in the first place. That's something to think on. Because he's a lot more influential than people like to admit. And it just goes to show in the caliber of wrestler he's created. And if he can do that with me, imagine what he can do with Takaro. Imagine what he can do with anybody else who joins the society. That's something we can offer you as well. We can offer you the expertise of the best manager there is on this planet. Richard Knights. And now that's something for you to think about. Remember the offer, Dylan. Remember it. It might be what saves you. It won't save you, Side Splitter. But I've had enough talking about you now. Leaving a bad case of chicken in my mouth. Ugh. Sour one at that. But anyways, leave a like, share, and subscribe. Oh, especially share this to Lawrence, Side Splitter. Please share it. I can't wait for him to actually respond to me. If he's brave enough to do it. Maybe he needs to hold Catherine's hand while he's doing it. I mean, you never know. Might be the only thing to give him a bit of confidence. But yes, leave a like, share, and subscribe, and ring the bell icon if you haven't already to stay updated with all future videos. And click up here, so you can choose which individual I should discuss next on Remus Talks. Now, you know how it goes. See you all in the next one.